Have you ever wondered why some people seem to have barakah in their life? Their rizq never runs out, their hearts stay calm, and they feel protected even during tough times. The truth is, the Qur'an itself contains secrets for such blessings, and one powerful surah has been specifically highlighted by the Prophet for these exact benefits. Sadly, many Muslims do not recite it daily, and they miss out on its amazing rewards. This video is going to open your heart to that surah, a chapter that brings abundance in sustenance, shields you from harm you cannot see, and fills your life with peace. Imagine making a small, daily habit that could change your dunya and akhirah. Stay with me till the end as we explore why this surah is so special and how you can easily make it part of your life starting today. 1. Importance of a surah that brings rizq, protection, and peace. In our busy lives, many of us are searching for ways to increase our rizq, provision, protect ourselves from harm, and find peace of heart. The Quran is not only a book of guidance but also a source of solutions for every difficulty a believer faces. Within its chapters, certain surahs have been highlighted in the teachings of the Prophet for their special benefits, both in this world and the hereafter. Among these, there is a surah that is unique because it directly relates to three essential needs of every Muslim: sustenance, safety, and inner tranquility. When a believer develops the habit of reciting it with sincerity and understanding, it becomes a means by which Allah blesses their livelihood, shields them from harm, and calms their heart in times of anxiety. This shows that the Quran is not only about rituals, it is a living guidance that impacts daily life when acted upon. The blessings that flow from such recitation remind us that true success comes from turning back to Allah, relying on His promises, and staying connected to His words as a daily routine and source of spiritual strength. 2. The surah is Surah Al-Waqi'ah and its special virtues. Surah Al-Waqi'ah, the 56th chapter of the Quran, is often called Surah of Wealth, due to its connection with sustenance and protection from poverty. It describes the scenes of the Day of Judgment, dividing people into three groups and reminding us of the reality of the hereafter. However, alongside its profound message, the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, specifically mentioned its worldly benefit. According to authentic narrations, he advised his companions to recite Surah Al-Waqi'ah regularly, promising that those who do so will not face poverty. Its verses are full of reminders that rizq is only from Allah. Reciting it with sincerity is an act of humility, acknowledging that no effort or plan succeeds without His will. Beyond financial blessings, scholars also highlight that the light of this surah strengthens the heart, protects from despair, and brings sakinah, peace. When a believer makes it part of their nightly routine, they create a habit that draws both worldly barakah and eternal reward. Listening to it or reciting it daily after Maghrib or Isha builds a connection with its message, making a person more mindful of their actions and hopeful of Allah's mercy. 3. Hadith of the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, about protection from poverty for those who recite it regularly. The virtues of Surah Al-Waqi'ah are directly supported by the sayings of the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One of the well-known narrations mentions that he advised his companions to make this surah part of their daily routine, saying that the one who recites it every night will not experience poverty. This hadith highlights the spiritual cause and effect that Allah places in certain acts of worship, that a believer's reliance on the Quran and remembrance of Allah brings unseen blessings into their life. Companions of the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, took these words seriously. It is narrated that Ibn Mas'ud, a close companion, used to instruct his daughters to recite Surah Al-Waqi'ah at night and assured them that through it, Allah would take care of their needs. Such practices show the trust the early Muslims had in this guidance. Poverty is not just a lack of money but a state of need and worry. By consistently reciting this surah, a believer expresses trust in Allah's promise, and He, in turn, opens doors of provision in ways beyond our understanding. This makes Surah Al-Waqi'ah a source of comfort and hope, especially for those going through financial or emotional struggles. 4. Best time to recite: after Maghrib or Isha, and the importance of consistency. Surah Al-Waqi'ah holds a special place when it is recited at night, particularly after Maghrib or Isha prayers. This timing is significant because evenings are a moment of calm when the mind is free from worldly distractions and a believer can focus more on the words of Allah. Many scholars recommend reciting this surah at night, as this was the practice mentioned in the narrations and followed by companions of the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The key to gaining the blessings of this surah lies in consistency rather than occasional recitation. When a person makes it a nightly habit, it becomes a part of their life and an act of worship that transforms their mindset. With time, this routine strengthens the heart and builds a deep connection with Allah. Even if someone cannot recite perfectly at first, they can start by listening attentively and gradually work towards reading it themselves. The regular practice of reciting Surah Al-Waqi'ah at night is a small but powerful step that brings long-term spiritual and worldly benefits, reminding us daily that our sustenance and peace come from Allah alone. 5. Spiritual effects. Barakah in sustenance, inner peace, and protection from unseen harm. One of the greatest impacts of reciting Surah Al-Waqi'ah regularly is the flow of barakah, blessings, that it brings into a person's life. Barakah is not just an increase in wealth. It is the unseen goodness that makes limited resources sufficient and turns small efforts into great outcomes. When a believer connects to this surah, it acts as a reminder that true provision comes only from Allah, which strengthens tawakkul, trust in Him. Along with Rizq, the recitation of this surah fills the heart with sakina, a deep tranquility that removes anxiety and restlessness. Life's pressures often cause worry, but these verses soothe the heart by redirecting attention to the power of Allah and the certainty of the hereafter. Moreover, scholars mention that regular recitation becomes a shield against unseen harm, such as difficulties and calamities that we cannot foresee. This protection is a mercy from Allah granted to those who engage with His words sincerely. Over time, the believer experiences a shift. Instead of fear of poverty or harm, they gain a sense of calm certainty that Allah is taking care of their affairs both in this world and the next. 6. Encouragement to start reciting, even by listening first if not memorized. Beginning the habit of reciting Surah Al-Waqi'ah does not require perfection or memorization from the start. What matters most is the intention to connect with the words of Allah. For those who find it challenging to read fluently, the easiest step is to start by listening to a clear recitation daily. Listening attentively helps the heart become familiar with its verses and eventually makes reciting easier. This surah is not long, so with a little consistency, a person can gradually learn it by repeating small portions every night. Even if someone manages just a few verses daily, that sincere effort is noticed and rewarded by Allah. It is also helpful to set a specific time, such as after Isha prayer, so that it becomes a regular part of one's evening routine. Over time, what begins as listening can transform into full recitation with understanding. Taking these small steps builds a spiritual habit that has lasting effects on faith, provision, and peace of mind. Remember that the Qur'an is meant to be approached gradually, and Allah opens doors for those who make a sincere start. Every little effort counts in strengthening the bond with this blessed surah. Surah Al-Waqi'ah is a timeless gift from Allah, a source of rizq, protection, and peace for anyone who builds a sincere connection with it. By making it a part of your nightly routine, you open doors to blessings that go beyond what you can see. Start small, stay consistent, and watch how Allah transforms your life. If this reminder inspired you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it so others can benefit too. And if you want to learn more beautiful gems from the Quran and Sunnah, make sure to like this video, subscribe to Deen, and click the bell icon.